What is up, guys? Politics Gaming here, and today we're doing a brand new video about Geo-Political Simulator 5. This is going to be part 2 of however many of these I'm going to be making. What we'll be having is that Pericles has agreed that Eversim will supply me with exclusive content for you guys once a week. So basically we'll be able to have some new features that are going to be being revealed exclusively on this channel. If you guys want to see exclusive content like this, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel, and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I am literally about, at the writing of this video, 15 subscribers away from 10,000. I'm probably going to be at 10,000 maybe by the time I even post this video. But let's go ahead and hit 10,000 and tell me what you guys want to see at 10,000. Do you want to see a Project Zomboid series? Do you guys want to see maybe another political game? What kind of video do you guys want to see on the channel whenever I hit 10,000? I'll go ahead and commit to a series for that. So go ahead and let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments below. But other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. So essentially what we have here is going to be two interesting additions to Geo-Political Simulator 5. We are going to be having new additions to the tourism aspect of the game, and as well as personal wealth. So first off, we're going to be starting with tourism. So what we have is two dedicated scenarios to tourism. One that requires you to get the most visited city on the planet, and the other that requires you to get into the top 10 most visited places on Earth. Tourism is going to be dedicated into two national sectors, including hotels and amusement parks. So it looks like they're getting rid of hotel tourism and trade, and then keeping amusement parks, but then including it as a part of the hotel industry. So I think instead of, it's kind of like how they mixed the fruits sectors into, like, it's how fruits, fishing is all mixed into one sector. So I think that's what they're going to do, is that this is going to be a part of tourism, and then it's going to maybe say tourism, and then it'll say amusement parks and hotels. So those two sectors are going to be mixed together now, like they are with fruits and fishing, for example. We have buildings that are going to be buildable, but that are already in the game. We do have new national parks, which are going to be new ploppable buildings. We have museums and libraries, which are going to be down as well. So these are going to increase the regional attractiveness of a certain region for tourism. So if I want to, for example, increase the amount of tourism coming to Texas, I would build a national park or a library. And as well, culture buildings are going to be adding to this. I've also clarified sports buildings will not add to this, which makes a little bit of sense, because sporting events, usually those are going to be increasing tourism around times like Olympics or maybe FIFA. So it makes a little bit of sense. Maybe they might change that by the time the game comes out. But we do have some new ploppable buildings, and I'll be very excited to see what national parks will look like in the new upcoming game. So for tourism, the dedicated panel includes a lot of criteria showing you the highlights and the weak points of your country. So essentially what we'll have is going to be high points and low points of what is increasing or decreasing tourism. These are going to include about the following. So we'll have that things like climate are going to affect it, human rights, public safety, tourist offer, which is how well established the related economic sectors are. So that's going to include things like subsidies, exonerations, things that we're doing to support those industries. We'll have terrorism risk. We'll have recreational infrastructures, such as national parks, for example. We'll have transport infrastructure, so that's going to be trains, our shipping ports, our airports. Those things are going to include into this. Our cultural heritage, so this is most likely going to include our cultural buildings, etc. We also have a ranking among countries, so like those scenarios we discussed earlier. We have cities and famous locations, which is going to include things like UNESCO, which I'll get into in a minute. So every quarter, we'll get an associated reaction summing up what progress were made and what has regressed in your country. So about every year, we'll get an associated reaction telling us if we were able to get some locations officially listed as World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. UNESCO is going to be a United Nations organization where they basically go around and they identify places of cultural or world history importance. These are going to be places like along the Rhine River in Europe, there where they call it the frontiers of the Roman Empire. These are going to be places like the Empire State Building. We have the Eiffel Tower. We have the pyramids of Giza. These types of places are so significant in which that they are identified as important by the United Nations. There's many places all across Europe that have these types of identifications. Persepolis in Persia or Iran. We have the Tia in Ethiopia. We have Asmara in Eritrea, which is a modernist African city, is what they call it. We have the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador. We have the colonial city of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And lastly, we have the Garamba National Park in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So it gives you a benefit in which basically a lot of people have been asking for a benefit to tourism. I've always gotten the complaints from the tourism minister saying that we're not investing enough into tourism, but there never has been an incentive into tourism. And ironically, I even told Pericles a while back, like earlier this month or last month, that we need something where we'll be able to improve our stance on tourism. And I'm very glad that we're going to be able to have something where we'll be able to focus on tourism. And some of the gameplay benefits of this is that Pericles said that in his own run on the game, he was able to achieve a 6% growth rate as France solely on promoting tourism. And as well, we have cultural world events will temporarily boost regional attractiveness. So maybe this will work similar to how the regional development meter in the European Union works, where basically you'll be able to see how much a region is developing in the EU. It might work the same way, in which instead you'll be able to see how attractive a region is in terms of tourism. And this will really benefit a lot of smaller countries that they're going to be able to at least, and a lot of countries are able to do this where they basically have such an importance on tourism because that's where a lot of their GDP and a lot of their service industry comes from, is because of tourism. So this is going to be a huge moneymaker. And the fact that he can get a 6% growth rate as France just off of developing tourism with a $30 billion subsidy, that's a really, really interesting thing that we're going to be able to finally go after in GPS 5. And before we get into the new personal wealth mechanic, I also do have some important information to share. So basically, we do have a new interesting change to the coalition of the game. So basically, coalitions are now in what's called relaxed mode. So basically, a lot of players were annoyed, especially German players or German playthroughs were annoyed whenever they had to form a coalition. The way no motion of no confidence works allows a bit more freedom with this regard. So basically, before you had to form a coalition, that was the majority of seats, which is about 51%. They did drop that, and so all you need is the first in terms of votes. So basically, it's going to be a plurality of votes, not the majority of votes, in terms of the coalition. So you don't have to get 51% of the parliament. You need to get a plurality. A majority would obviously work better, but we would just need a plurality at this point. And so basically what he also said is that you don't even have to form a coalition so long as you get the most number of seats in the parliament, then you'll be a minority government or what's called a hung parliament. But basically you won't have to form a coalition so long as you have the most number of seats in the parliament. So you're going to be the majority party. It's just that you're not having the majority of the actual parliament. So beware that other parties in the parliament, if they don't like you, they will initiate a motion of no confidence against you. And this way they model a bit better the way some countries work. They also will still form a coalition. Parties within yours are way less likely to approve a motion of no confidence against you. So basically what actually happens is that if you make a coalition, it actually helps you against motions of no confidence in this new edition. Motions of no confidence obviously are going to be the new edition in 2025, where instead of getting ousted for no reason, instead you'll actually have to deal with what's called a motion of no confidence. For non-Europeans out there, motion of no confidence is going to be essentially, it's like an impeachment in the United States, but it's not because of a criminal trial. It's just because the parliament which is the elected amount of representatives from all of the constituencies inside of a country or a region. All of them lose confidence in their leader, and so they vote to oust them, whether they're in a coalition or not. So think of it like an impeachment, except it's just not because they're committing a crime. It's literally just because they don't like that person anymore. And one last thing before we go on, we also do have two new national parks. So these are going to be small national parks and large national parks. So these are going to be very exciting to see on how they look and also how they will affect your national economy. I am very excited for this feature because I have been very adamant about getting a new tourism update in this game, and it looks like we're getting a lot of updates in terms of politics, of economy. And this next one is going to be a little bit more concentrated, but I also really like it because it will make a lot of things kind of more approachable, a lot of more like personable things approachable on how you'll be able to do this in the game. So what we have is going to be the personal wealth feature. This is going to relate to anyone that is a CEO, a billionaire, a party leader, a politician, an artist, an athlete, and a head of state. So every single character, including the two that you can control in this game, which is going, or the three actually, which is going to be opposition leader, head of state, and CEO, you're going to be able to participate in this type of feature. This is basically going to be a feature which is going to expand on the corruption mechanic of this game. There's not going to be any type of thing like a corruption index or anything like that. I already have suggested that to them. If this is if this is the route that they're going to go down, I think that they really should introduce something like this, especially because this is going to expand a lot on corruption. So what we have as a CEO and head of state, this is going to be under the head of state menu whenever you're playing as a president or prime minister. And under the CEO, you'll have a dedicated tab for personal wealth. This is where you can buy and sell your shares, which is not differing anything from the 2024 edition of this game. But where this is going to happen, where this is going to diverge from, is that you can build a property, you can buy goods, and these goods are what they really kind of focused on in this part, is that you can buy luxury goods. These are going to be books, paintings, sports cars, animals, multiple animals. Other ones that we have fossils, luxury watches, we have relics, and we also have a forbidden collector's book. So he never really gave me any indication of what this book is. I think I have a pretty specific idea, but what is your guys' thoughts down in the comments below? What kind of book do you think it is? I think all of us are thinking of the same exact book, especially the fact that it is a book, but I'm not going to guess it on stream. Probably might get demonetized, but what is you guys' idea of what it is? I think we're all thinking of the same one though. Now, some of you may be asking, what is the point of this feature? Why they would be adding something like this into the game? The only way that you have, it's kind of like a mini game that we have in the CEO mode. So we have what's called personal wealth. This is going to be the amount of net worth that our character has in the game. And so the only way that we're able to grow it is that we're just basically just investing all of our net worth into things like shares. So we just buy other companies' shares, we buy our own company shares, and then we sell it off at the end of the year and then buy more as soon as the price goes up. And then basically we'll be able to just go from 20 million net worth all the way up to like 3 billion. I was actually able to get my guy to be a billionaire just by buying and selling my shares every year, and I did this for like 3 or 4 years in the game, and it was pretty interesting. It also kind of got a little repetitive, so this kind of like it kind of concentrates a little bit more on diversifying your net worth, and then it actually gives you something to spend your money on, which I think is really cool that you'll be able to do this. And as a head of state, you will actually be able to do something really important with this, and you actually might be able to use this feature a lot more because it's not as focused in this one. You can actually diversify what you're doing, and it might even increase or lower the punishment you might receive from even initiating this type of transaction. So, as head of state, you can also trade in the same types of products. So, you can trade in property or in relics or in forbidden collector's books. And you can actually use these to bribe other characters, which will actually, like, if you're going to give them a watch, they're probably less inclined to take that watch from you. But if it's like a really expensive item, like a fossil or something like that, they're more inclined to take it because it's going to be worth a lot more. So you can actually use this to bribe other characters or maybe even other heads of state to say, hey, if you do this trade deal, I'll give you like $1 million fossil. And so I think it'll be a really interesting way to stabilize the amount of growth that you're having with your funds. And then at least not having more to do with that money, with that net worth, rather than just buying your shares over and over again. So I think it's going to be a really interesting take on it. And plus it'll be like a mini corruption game. So I'm actually pretty excited to see what type of products we can actually share with, especially properties too. And then we also have some new features that are coming with this too, and I think one of them is really funny. We have the same type of tab, like I said, with the head of state panel, and then other changes that'll come to head of state along with this is that you can fund your own party too with your personal wealth. So not only are CEOs going to be able to have their own personal wealth, which they already have, they're expanding that feature over to the head of state. So basically, you can come in as like this poor head of state in Afghanistan and then make him into the richest person in the world. You can create a foundation as your head of state, like the Clinton Foundation, for example, or the Trump Organization. You can create stuff like that. You can promote a cause through your foundation. So you can do humanitarian causes, ecology, animals, cancer, etc. There might be a lot more things that we can actually do. Maybe we can even promote like conservative ideologies. It's kind of like maybe making the Daily Wire like a part of the presidency or something like that. So if I'll be really excited if we can actually promote like ideologies in your country. That way we can maybe try to shift the diagram whenever it comes to ideology, which I thought was really funny because it kind of I was just like, oh yeah, we can literally just make the Clinton Foundation in the game or something like that. And about that would be it. So they're only doing about 2 features a week with me. So basically it gives me enough time to make some content at least weekly on a regular basis for you guys. And then as well, they're able to kind of like feed that information out, just kind of creating that hype. So I thought it was really cool that we're able to get into this exclusive agreement together. And they actually were the ones that wanted to do it. I really want to give a big shout out to Pericles, just how informative he is, how just amazing he is whenever it comes to communication, with how he deals with the community, just how just I think he's just the biggest benefit to GPS 5. He really restored my confidence in Eversim. And I just really, really, really appreciate Pericles. And I know been saying this the last couple of videos, but I cannot thank Pericles enough just how amazing he has been with just the community, with me, and just how he's been able to, like, me and him are basically on the same wavelength when it comes to how me and him see this game. And I just really appreciate his effort. And I really appreciate Eversim for giving me this opportunity to get this information out to you guys exclusively. But what do you guys think? Are you guys excited to see more features? I know one of the biggest complaints about this game is that, like, we need the bugs fixed, and that is actually again one of the reasons why I really like Pericles, because he acknowledges the issues of bugs. He's really just upfront about how the bugs are a thing and just where they stand on the bugs. But I obviously all of us want a bug-free game. Obviously, all of us do. But I really like how just basically upfront Pericles is about it. Just, it's a very complicated game. There's a lot of bugs in it, and we're really trying our hardest to try to get it fixed. But we also need to, make features too, which I also agree with that. I would rather get some features out, that way the game doesn't become stale, because they know that too. I'm pretty sure anyone could think of that too, is that if they stop making the game for a while, the game would become very stale, people would lose interest, and then all of a sudden we won't have a game anymore. So there's a huge balancing act that they have to meet, and so that's at least my opinion on it. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that these features are really good? Do you guys think that they're needless? Are you excited for the tourism feature? Are you excited for the personal wealth feature? What's your guys' thoughts on the economic attractiveness feature? And what's your guys' thoughts on the coalition? These are not only the only features we're going to be getting. We also have some more features coming in next week. One of them is apparently exclusive to a specific country. I won't be able to say which country it is, but apparently it's going to be exclusive to one specific country. But other than that, guys, tell me your guys' thoughts down below. What do you guys think about this new edition? Do you guys think a lot of this is really good, really bad? Let me know what you guys think. But that will be it for today. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm about to hit 10,000 subscribers. Very excited to hit that mark. Tell me what you guys think that I should do, what kind of game I should play at 10,000, or what you guys want to see. Maybe I can even do a series for GPS 5. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about an Australia series, honestly. Maybe on Indonesia. I'm thinking Southeast Asia. What would you guys want to see in Southeast Asia? Or I know this was the original one before GPS 5 came out. I could do that Ethiopia series I actually was going to do originally. But guys, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you guys want to see more content, hit that bell notification icon so you miss anything whenever I do make it to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.